Hey, welcome back to my channel, Duct Tape Mechanic. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to fix a GE front load washing machine that's stopping in the middle of the cycle and not spinning. So if you find this video to be helpful, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more DIY and tinkering videos. Alright, so here is the washing machine in question. It's a GE front load washer, and this video is going to be applicable to pretty much any sort of GE washing machine that has this sort of blue door boot seal. So they're pretty much all the same, or at least this problem occurs in all of them the same way. So if you are curious, this one is GFW 650. But like I said, they come in different shapes and colors, or I should say different colors. Basically what's happening is that the washing machine is stopping in the middle of the cycle, and it doesn't really spin all the way. The drum may spin a little bit, but then it immediately stops. And from my experience, most of the time when this sort of mid-cycle stoppage and the drum not spinning occurs, it's almost always the motor inverter board that's bad. So that's around $150 part, but if you do it yourself, $150 is not a bad price to pay to repair this washing machine. Now, there's a couple of tests you could do to verify that, but they're not 100% definitive. So I'm going to show you how to put this into diagnostics mode to give yourself a little bit of a better idea that indeed it is your motor control board that's bad. Now, the previous owner of this machine decided to attempt this repair himself, and he unplugged a lot of things and he plugged them back in. So this machine is given all sorts of weird errors, but I'm going to give you a handful of specific errors that the motor inverter board gives when it's going bad. So to put it into diagnostics mode is actually quite easy. All you have to do is make sure the washing machine is plugged in, and then just put your hand over the pause or pause button until the display panel here begins flashing some lights. So I believe it says 10 seconds, but as you can see, it has gone into the diagnostics mode, or the error code mode. So this machine is throwing that 9 error code number 1. That's because they unplugged they attempted this repair, but they didn't plug in the door latch back in, so it's giving all sorts of different door errors. But to toggle through them, the errors in particular we're looking for are 3, 26, 27, 39, 66, 92. If you have any of those errors, it's the motor inverter board. Now you may be wondering, why do I have 7 or 8 errors? It's because it's a cascade effect. If the inverter board is bad, then you may also have drain issues. You may also have fill issues on the rinse cycle. So it's going to give a slew of different errors from that. So you really want to focus to make sure if your machine is giving these error codes in particular. So that was 3, 26, 27, 39, 66, or 92. And I'm going to toggle through that, and there we go. That's a 27 error code, synonymous with a failed motor inverter board. Let's get to repairing this thing. If you don't want to go into diagnostics mode and your machine is exhibiting those symptoms where it's stopping midway in the cycle and not spinning, go ahead and just replace the control board, the inverter board, I should say. It's something you could do yourself, and well worth a shot. So first thing we want to do is unplug the washer. After that, we're going to go ahead and remove the fabric softener dispenser and soap dispenser all in one. There's a little button right here that we have to push to get this to come out. With the dispenser removed, there's 5 screws that you need to take out. So there's one right there, another one that's deep in there, if you can see that, and the other 3 are on the left side. So 1, 2, 3. And when you take them out, and same goes to when you're installing them, you want to be careful. This is all plastic. Looks like the previous owner went a little bit crazy and he cracked it from right here. But I'm here to tell you to go slowly and take your time. All right, so sometimes when you're removing those 5 screws, they don't want to come out. I was able to get 3 of them out, but 2 are loosened up, and honestly, if they're loosened up, they serve the same purpose as if they're out. So once you've removed those 5, or loosened up those 5, I should say, we should be able to kind of start prying up this control panel and take it off the clips, and we just move it up like so. All right, so in the next part, we're going to be removing the ring around the door boot seal. And to do that, there's a multitude of different tools you could use. I just like to use a small screwdriver and one of these hole punches, or you could use 2 hole punches, whatever you have on hand that's going to be kind of pointy. As you can see, this is not going to really scar or mark up the machine. You just want to protect the machine. Otherwise, there's a specialty tool you can get from GE to do this, but that is not necessary. So we're going to come down here, and you're going to see that the door boot seal has actually got these little holes in them, and that's where we're going to be sticking our 2 objects, in this case a screwdriver and a hole punch, and then pulling them in opposite directions to loosen up that spring. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stick one right there. Well, actually, in most cases, you don't even need to use the other one. It's the when we're putting it back that you may need to put it like so, then pull it. But this one I was able to just use with one of them. And there we go. Then we can just peel back the door boot seal. After that, we're going to be taking apart the door lock assembly. So there's 2 screws right here that hold on this panel. Once that panel has been removed, there's 2 more screws, 1, 2, that we need to loosen up in order to take off the door lock mechanism. We actually won't be taking it off. We're just going to let it dangle here in the back. After that, we'll be undoing the 3 screws that are at the bottom of the washing machine. So there's 1 right here, 2, and 3. You really can't see them until you tip back the washer. So this is where it helps to have somebody to help you tip it back, because this thing is a absolute mammoth. But you probably want to hold on to the display panel as you tip it back, but it can be done. I'm doing it by myself. So after that, we're going to be removing all the screws that are on the top right here, including the one that looks a little bit difficult on the right side, or different I should say, on the right side. It's got this little peg screw to it, so, but it's still got a Phillips head on it. So all of the Phillips head screws you see, we will have to take off in order to get this off, including the one right there as well. Alright, so before we can actually take this entire top off right here, we do need to kind of reach in there and drop that piece right there down to the grooves, and that'll just help us take this top off a little bit easier. So those 2 clips that we just pushed back. We should be able to reach inside the door and lift it and out of there. Now, you do want to be careful that on some models, there's another door switch mechanism that's plugged in over here. So you want to make sure that's unplugged as well. That allows you to switch the door around. So that one just came out as I pulled this off, but you do want to make sure that this is unplugged. And we'll get that out of there. So what I mean by that is this is our original door lock mechanism. It's on the right side, but you could also move this over to the left side, and so that's why they have this plug here. Now we finally have access to that motor inverter board. As you could probably tell, this machine looks like it's been left outside, so I will be repairing this just for the sake of YouTube, but it is not going to be sold to anybody, so you don't have to worry about that, because it looks like they left it outside and it rusted. But anyways, that is the motor inverter board, and to access it, where I'm just gonna take off this lower cinder block, or I should say lower balancing block. I'm putting the exact counterweight, I should say, that's what they're called, just so I can reach it a little bit better. You may be able to do it without taking off these counterweights. All right, so to remove the motor inverter board, there's a screw right there, and I'm going to be using the Phillips. You can also use a hex that needs to be removed, so right there. After that screw has been removed, you can just kind of grab this whole panel right here and pull it towards yourself, like that, and then pull it up afterwards. All right, so once you've got it kind of loose, we're gonna get a wire cutter and just cut that zip tie right there. Right there. All right, so after you cut that zip tie, there's also one in the back over here. And let me see it right there. Maybe see it right there where my finger is. So you also need to cut that one as well. Once you've undone those two, once you've cut those two zip ties, we're just going to be undoing these clips around the perimeter right here. There should be a total of, once you undo 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one in the back, you should be able to just pull up this whole thing right there. So we were undoing 1, 2, 3, and 4, and these in the back right here kind of just come out when you pull it up. There's just 4 connectors we need to undo. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you want, you can take a picture, but they're only going to be able to go in one way. So all right, so then we just need to undo these 4 Phillips screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so here is the replacement board. I will be linking this product so it pops up around now. This is pretty much the most reliable and the cheapest one I could find online. It usually runs around 150 bucks. And the good thing about it is, regardless of whatever GE washer you have, as long as it has that blue tub seal, it all fits the same part. So that should pop up around now. And if you can't find it, it should be in the description of this video as well. And I will also try to link it. We'll pin it to the comments. So 3 different locations to find it. Anyways, once we get the new replacement board, we're just gonna have to go ahead and pop it into place over here and just clip it in, push it in, and then screw it down with the 4 screws. All right, so once we got the new board onto the old casing, we're just gonna roughly put it into position and then go ahead and route those wires through the routing system here of various clips, plug them in, and then we'll put the cover back on. We won't worry about putting those zip ties on. I don't see the point to it. All right, the nice thing is there's only 4 connectors, so I got them all on there. 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th one is right there. I got the wires all routed up as they were. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and put this cover back on. So you wanna hook it from the back side first, and it should just snap on. All right, so after the cover is on, we're just gonna make sure that these pegs go into the slots right here, and then we'll just push the whole cover unit or motor control unit assembly back once they do. So I've got them kind of lined up. Kind of gonna approach it at a little bit of an angle. Let's see if I can do that. There, and then just push it back, and it locks in place. And the rest of the steps is pretty much just going in reverse order. So we're gonna go ahead and put that screw back in there. After that, we'll be putting the door back on. It's important to go ahead and plug. If your model has that door switch, that's just a placeholder, you go ahead and plug that in as well. But the main thing is to make sure that when you're putting the doors back on, that it goes on to these pegs. So this peg should line up to the holes on this side of the door, and that will hold it in place as you screw it in. Then we're going to reinstall the door boot seal. So it's important to go ahead and make sure that it's seated over this lip properly before you put the spring clamp back on. All right, so to put the spring clamp on, go ahead and just put one side over, then use your choice of tools to kind of pry apart that spring while at the same time keeping it over the edges. Can be a little bit tricky, but can definitely be done without any sort of specialty tool. Then, if you've done everything correctly, we should have exactly 3 screws left in your magnetic tray. And what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and put this up against the wall and put those 3 screws in on the bottom. All right, so that is how you replace the motor control board on your GE front load washing machine, also called the inverter board. And that will fix an issue with your machine stopping midway through the cycle and not spinning. So if you found this video to be helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up sign.